So what are the challenges you faced on SQL Server till now?
Yeah, there are recently we had some issue related to replication, the transaction replication. So we do move all schema changes once in a month. So whatever the schema changes happened in the publisher, so we gather all those changes and in one go we move those changes to all subscribers. So when when it is working fine and the data is getting initialized with all the subscribers, except for one table and one article, we were getting ANSI padding of one particular object, and so we went into the source table and we checked the ANSI padding option for that table. When you go to the table properties, we do see that the option is turned on, and when you go and check. So we searched a lot in Google and we went to some forums. So we kept that aside and we went through all other pending things and we cleared all the things. So replication is working for all other articles. The only one article we still tracked. So we were 4 members over the weekend. So we 4 members are trying to identify why it is throwing that error. We take that error. We went to Google and we searched a lot, but nothing. So then we finally thought we ourselves try to see what happened, why it is taking. We started trial and error method. We tried a couple of options, but still it is not working. Then what the final thing that we did is we went to the snapshot folder and we opened .sh file, snapshot files, so where the script is generated from that snapshot. So when we open that sh file, there whatever the article that we had a problem like ANSI padding turn off, there it was generated the script with default ANSI padding off. So in that file, what we have done, we have updated that command with ANSI padding on, and then we try to reinitialize or we try to replicate that object, so it went successful. So yeah, that's a very unique issue, and there were no documentation. We went through Google, nothing was found. It's a very unique thing we found, and we resolved the things. We resolved that problem. It is very recent. Last weekend we had this problem.
Okay. So fine. So what are incidents? What type of incidents we will get?
So we get all user access. So people will come to us saying that we are not able to access, we are not able to connect SQL Server, and also performance related things, and also blockings and deadlocks, and also job failures. Okay, so for all these things, we have alerts configured to remedy. So whatever if something goes wrong in the system, automatically the incident will be triggered in the remedy, and from remedy we get an automated email, and from there we go ahead and start working on that particular instance. So any issues with the high availability, data synchronization issues, for everything we get incidents.
Okay. So recently, what type of incidents you worked on? Give me any examples. What kind of alert will generate to you?
So by job failures, there is one common thing that we do take daily. Daily, that's about couple of whenever we go to shift, and in our shift, whatever the job failures we get, that we take as an incident and we troubleshoot. And apart from that, the one critical incident. So we get a request from customers saying that the queries are running slow. So the queries are running slow is very common, but here the uniqueness is he is telling queries are basically he's trying to pull a report from front end. When he ran the report first time, the report is generated within few seconds. So in the subsequent times, whenever he's trying to pull the report, it is going beyond 10 minutes and 15 minutes. So same stored procedure is being called from the back end, but the user is complaining that my report is taking more time sometimes, and sometimes it is working fine. So
as a DBA, what you did?
Yeah, that's what I'm coming to. So we take that stored procedure, whatever the stored procedure. First, we enable the trace, like a server-side trace in the production, and we try to capture what exactly happening in the system. The thing that we identified from the production trace is like, so whenever he executed the stored procedure first time, he has selected a date range of 1 week. So for example, there are parameters called start date and end date, and he has given 1st December 2015 to 7th December 2015. And we executed that report as it was first time. The SQL server has generated a execution plan, and the plan was cached. And whenever he is trying to pull the report for say 6 months or 1 year or more than 1 year, so what is happening behind the scene? The SQL server is trying to use same execution plan that was generated as part of 1 week date range. So, and considering that it is assigning, it is estimating 1 week results, and considering that it is assigning resources to that particular query. And whatever the resources that are assigned to pull the data for 1 week are not sufficient to pull for 6 months or 1 year. So because of that, it is taking more time. So on that, so we with some more little research, we concluded this is related to parameter sniffing, and then as per the Microsoft recommendation, we have implemented offset recompile as a hint. Then we tested it in dev, so it went fine, and we promoted same thing to we patched out same thing to production, and then we are kind of monitoring since last 10 days, and we don't see that problem again, and the customer is happy at the end of the day.
Okay, so what are the counters you selected? Like you said, the stored procedure for running
events. So basically, we selected events like one is the execution plan, and another the SP started and SP ended, and like statement started and statement ended, and then we selected appropriate columns like reads, writes, and duration. So based on that, we measured all the required fields for that particular query.
Okay.
For execution plan, we selected XML, show XML plan.
Okay, so what is meant by index seek and index scan?
So both are index operations. So when so index scan means, for example, I have a table with 2 columns like ID and name. So, and I am creating an index, and I have an index and ID column, and in my select query, so my predicate also on ID column, like in where condition I am putting like where ID equal to 101 or ID is less than something or greater than something. So both index and ID are on same column. So in that case, so it comes as an index seek, because we are giving whatever the value that we are using as a predicate, and on the same column we are having an index, and it will go and seek that particular value from the index. So it performs index seek operation, and I have index and ID column, and my predicate is name, like where name equal to something.
So index scan will give good performance, or index seek?
So obviously index seek, but we need to depending on some cases, index scan may give better performance. So we need to come up with a better index. We need for that scenario for our requirement, we need to test it in the environment thoroughly, and so then we can go with implementing index scan or index seek.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you worked on Always, sir?
I have basic knowledge, but I did not get a chance to work on Always on.
Okay. What about Windows cluster? SQL cluster?
Clustering I have worked.
Okay. So what are the IO availabilities you work?
So we have log shipping, mirroring, transaction replication, and clustering.
Mhm. Okay. So let's say example, okay, one of the CPU is utilizing almost 99%. So how do you check and troubleshoot?
Yeah, the CPUs, we need to check what exactly running in the system at that point of time. So
Okay, yeah, I need tell me some DMVs and queries. How do you check?
Yeah, we can run system DM exec requests or exec sessions and exec connections to find what exactly running at that point of time in the system, and also if there are any if to perform to see if there is which process is consuming more CPU, and we can run some DMVs to identify the wait states like system OS underscore wait tasks and wait types, and from there then we can also see by running system underscore OS underscore ring buffers, we can see the statistical CPU usage information and query wise. So by using this, we can come to know what which SQL process is consuming more CPU. And in our case, mostly we have data warehouse loads occurring in our India data. So sometimes the queries get stuck and all the resources queries get stuck, and then and it will not release the required resources, and sometimes some of the processes hung on like alarming at high CPU and high memory. In such cases, we found those queries. We found those queries, and then we kill that particular transaction to avoid impact on other areas of the SQL.
Okay. So let's say example, one of the table is dropped in developer side. Okay, how do you recover that table?
So table is dropped accidentally, and we need to recover that table back to the production rate. So if you go for any if there are any third-party tools for backup, and we can perform a table level, object level restores. And if you don't have that, then we have the only option, like we need to restore the transaction log backup with the stop at option, and we need to mention the time just before the drop occurred, so with that we can bring the table back to the system.
Okay, so what is degree of parallelism?
So degree of parallelism is basically parallelism is nothing but parallelizing the query across multiple processors. So for that, the degree of parallelism is the amount, the threshold from where the query has to parallelize. Like say for example, one query, it's a simple query. If you put degree of parallelism as a 0 or 1, so for all the queries, it will try to, for each and every query that is coming to that particular SQL, it will try to parallelize. So the parallelism is required when for larger queries, like where the query is taking more time and it's very complex query, and that has to be passed among multiple processes. And degree of parallelism is something, the value that we can define. Whenever it reaches to that threshold, then only parallelize this query. Okay.
Okay. So what is the use of update statistics?
So update statistics, basically statistics is the one of input to come for SQL Server to come up with a better optimal execution plan for any particular query. So if you don't update statistics, and the statistics will be outdated, and so because of that, SQL Server may come up with a bad execution plan, and that leads to run our queries slower. So to avoid that, as part of our regular maintenance, we'll have our update statistics as a regular task.
Okay. So let's say backup is running for quite long time. So how do you find out estimation time?
So we can
What is the command you use?
So we can, when you put the stats in the backup option, like the backup database name to disk with the stats, and it will give us the progress. And also when you go to the processes running, and it can give you since how long it is running, how much percentage it is completed, and from there what the for remaining how much time it takes. Then we can calculate.